we're going to move on with it. This is an important statement we say at the beginning of every board meeting. I would like everybody to pay attention. This is a meeting of the Lacenter School District Board of Directors. It is being held in public, but it is not a meeting of the public. To speak during the meeting, you need to contact, if you're going to be online, Tammy in our district office prior to 4 p.m. If you come to the meeting, you can sign up until 7 o'clock. I do have a list here of those that have signed up. We limit those to 2 minutes. So please, if you are going to speak, please come up to the podium, state your name, and then keep it under 2 minutes so we have room for everybody. Public input on non-agenda items. We'll call on those who have signed up. The board will listen to your comments and take the input provided under advisement and may or may not comment at this time. Please be sure to state your full name when you begin speaking. So I'm going to start with the list of those who have showed up. I'm going to read all the names on the list, and if we're going to go in this order, I'll call you again. Buffy, and Buffy, I'd get your name wrong. It's Sparger, I'm not sure, so please. And then Monty, and then Myrna, and then Tim, and then Justine, and then Sally. If we could go in that order, if you'd please come up to the podium.
You said my last name right.
Yeah, but I didn't get it right. What was it?
It's Sparger.
Sparger. Oh, thank you. Buffy, please.
Do you want me to time any of them?
Yeah, Wendy's going to time the 2 minutes if you know.
Why don't you just go ahead and unmute them? And that way they don't have to hold the button down. So we are trying to, like Todd said, we're trying to Zoom and meet at the same time. Teachers call this Zoom in room. It's very challenging. You can see the number of computers up here. So
It's nice to be back in person.
It is so great to see everybody's faces back.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this at 2 minutes. Hello, my name is Buffy Sparger. Never before in the history of Washington has your job been so difficult. I extend my gratitude for your service. Since the National School Board Association has attempted to weaponize the FBI against concerned parents, I am unfortunately compelled to state this disclaimer. This letter and the enclosed documents are in no way meant to cause you to feel threatened in any way, and I hope that you see these documents as an opportunity to receive support. The enclosed public disclosures requests have been served to all directors of Lacenter Public School District. Many districts across the state, including Seattle School District and several more throughout King County, will be or already have been served the same documents over the next 30 days by thousands of parents statewide who have come together as a unified voice. To ensure that this effort is recognized as a demonstration of support, the Clark County Sheriff has also been given a copy of these documents and informed of our peaceful intent. We recognize there is a fundamental conflict of interest between school government and parents. School government has a vested interest in the system as a whole, while parents have a vested interest in the children. We have identified that the source of this conflict may stem from the fact that our local school boards have been forced to give away increasingly more decision-making authority to the Washington State School Directors Association and other state agencies. The Superintendent of Public Instruction, Chris Reichdahl, has clearly threatened to withhold taxpayer funds that rightfully belong to our school district, based on whether or not we comply with health policies we may or may not agree with. Nowhere in the revised Code of Washington is power granted to Mr. Reichdahl or the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction to withhold or bribe with the funds they are tasked to dispense to local school districts. Is it possible that if Mr. Reichdahl indicates or acts on the threat of withholding funds, this would imply extortion on his part? We, the people, founded this country with a structure that was designed to keep the greatest authority at the local level of government, yet our governor and state agencies have made unilateral decisions for the whole population while ignoring the voices of local school boards and parents. Perhaps we lost sight of that original vision of strong local authority when we let state and federal agencies like WASDA, OSPI, and the National School Board gain enough control to withhold our state funding over matters that should be a personal medical choice for every citizen. A child's right to an in-person public education being held contingent upon wearing a mask was, is, and will always be unacceptable and reprehensible. No parent or caregiver should ever be tasked with the arduous directive to allow the school district, Washington Department of Health, and third parties to gain access to private medical information and educational information of their child and consent to a non-elective compulsory COVID-19 test in order to return to school or participate in any extracurricular school activities. All of us share the responsibility of getting ourselves into this predicament of a few people dictating to the masses. We also share the responsibility of getting ourselves out. There's a solution.
You agreed to the time.
Thank you.
I understand that there's going to be.
Yep, thank you very much.
We received, hey, just so everybody knows, you say, you know that the school board, this school board, when that letter came out, wrote a letter removing ourselves from the national school board system, demanding we be removed, and demanding that the Washington State one remove our names from that letter and specifically saying we do not support that. And in fact, our superintendent wrote a letter saying to Mr. Reichdahl, the only threat we ever received has never been from a teacher, but only from you, Mr. Reichdahl. So if anybody else, please, if you're going to read the same letter, please just let them know and we can just say ditto and get on with the business. So the
We've
next-
all received them.
yeah, I got
Numerous.
7 of those. Monty,
Can we read it? Because I'm reading the
why don't you start where she left off and then we
Oh,
can.
yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Thank you, guys, very much. My name is Monty Winton. The documents enclosed and mailed to each of you are our first act of helping you, our local school board, take back your rightful authority to determine how best to represent the parents of this district. Please use this public disclosure request as an opportunity to educate yourself and us so we can better understand the entanglement we find ourselves in with OSPI, WASDA, and other state agencies who are overstepping their lawful boundaries. According to RCW 28A.345.020, all Washington state school boards are required to be members of WASDA. Most other states do not have laws that compel membership. Their school boards will have the authority to choose whether or not they want to take guidance from various state agencies, but not here in Washington. In RCW 28A.343.100, school board members are again compelled by law, starting in 2022, to take guidance from various state agencies, but not here in Washington. In RCW 28A.343.100, school board members are again compelled by law, starting in 2022, to take governance training and cultural competency, diversity, equity, and inclusion standards. Those words are referring to critical race theory, sexual education for our children as young as 5 years of age, and curriculums that promote transgenderism. These are just 2 examples of how our state legislature has taken away your authority to choose what you're taught and what you will be compelled to promote to our children. Representative Joel McIntyre attempted to introduce a bill in the current legislative session that proposed that local school board membership in WASDA be optional rather than mandatory. Making membership optional would return decision-making authority back to the local level and send a clear message to WASDA that we erroneously let power become too centralized. WASDA has been treating Washington students and parents that they belong to one large district rather than respecting the authority of the 295 elected school boards in the state. Unfortunately, Joel McIntyre was recently strong-armed into dropping this bill under pressure from WASDA. Thank you, guys.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How does filling out the hundreds of pages of Freedom of Information Act that was sent to me 7 separate times, how does that help you how does that help our students?
We're just trying to get that message across to everybody. It might be redundant. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents that we have to, by law, produce.
Yeah.
That we're going to require
Well-
someone to take away from student instruction and student learning and.
Well,
me
unfortunately,
working
we're
on-
in this.
And for me working on stuff
Yeah.
that you and I probably agree on. I do
Yeah.
not believe in critical race theory should be taught to our kids. But instead of me working on that, we're gonna spend hundreds of hours.
Is that my fault or your fault? I think it comes from the state and the school
I don't know
unions.
how that helps. I've written.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. But
Because I would.
But there's a lot of other things taken away from
a
us.
school board that supports the things that you do. I think you and I probably have the same agenda on almost every item. Yet instead of now working on, anti-mandate
Budgets.
programs and budgets but even on things we agree on, it's now going to take our district staff and some of the board staff hundreds of hours to reply to this that you guys won't even, are you going to read all those, the hundreds of pages? Because I got them from,
And it's just duplicate. It's kind of hard when it's the same.
I understand.
scripted letter
Maybe we'll never have to do,
over
I'm
and
hoping we
over
never
and
have to
over.
do this again. This should have never happened in the first place.
Question is how does it help?
What has been going on has not been helping anybody. This is just one more step, as far as I see.
Race theory and masks.
Putting pressure on the school
So-
board.
I mean, you can see,
You understand that we work for an education system. We're not doctors. We're not health.
He
officials,
was
so we don't
actually
write the
finishing.
health
but
laws.
they're
We don't
teaching.
write the health laws. We stand our name, we obey health laws that are done.
Excuse me,
Out there trying to push agendas, but we are forced by law to obey.
this is just crazy
You
that you're
complain to people
arguing.
that make those laws. But for us to follow them, under threat of lawsuit, and then you punish us, seems odd to me.
This is
Well-
not a lawsuit.
You're wasting your
Okay,
time
that you force us. through this
arguing.
Certified letter that I got.
Well, we only have so many days to return it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I mean, basically, that is. the
It's a
thing.
mandate. It's a mandate.
No,
It's not a mandate.
You guys don't agree, and we're all here to support each other.
And
right?
did
We
you see
agree
us,
on that?
what, did you see our anti, did you, and
I spoke to him about.
did you see our CRT
I
legislation?
understand, but when it came down to them pulling.
This is exciting.
Why don't you just listen to parents?
Yeah, and they got funds with help.
So I think we all agree that we're here to support each other. That's what this letter is about. So I
That's
think
right.
that
Where does it
it's a
go?
process and it's gonna be hard work for everybody, the
The school
parents.
district get
and the
absorbed
school
by
board.
You
it.
say you don't talk to
I don't work
parents,
with
then
us.
why are you
I'm
arguing
not
with this
And I'm
guy?
sorry
care
that
about
it's
our
taking hundreds of hours, and I can't speak
This is our
what's
only
come down
voice.
on you guys.
I understand. Okay, Myrna.
My name is Myrna Aleja. We, the parents of Washington, finally comprehend how little authority you have left to represent us. It is time we come together to restore your authority and ours. In addition to providing the information requested in these documents, we ask that the Lacenter School District Board do all of the following. Number one, reach out to Representative Joel McIntyre to give him your support of the bill. The proposed WASDA membership be optional. Whether it's this year or next year, that bill must get passed for the future of our children. Two, strongly urge WASDA to
Oh my goodness.
withdraw membership from the NSBA. Currently, almost 20 other
Okay, I
states
have to admit
have
that I was
left the
hard to listen to what
NSBA,
Todd
and
was saying.
Washington
The
parents
guy
are
that I
very
said was an
disappointed to
asshole.
see WASDA's silence on the matter.
But why would somebody
Three,
put
pass
that
a
in a
resolution
chat?
acknowledging
of a
and
school board
affirming that parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's future. Several other districts in Washington
being
have passed
recorded.
this resolution. Four, cease any practice of sharing our children's health information with third parties, including state agencies. Five, disband tests to return children for children to return to school or participate in any extracurricular activities. As we finish the 2021-22 school year, we envision a harmonious partnership between parents and school district leadership and legislators to restore the freedom of personal choice over what teachers and students wear on their faces and put in their bodies, as well as restore authority to the local level of government. However, if these freedoms are ignored by the Lacenter Public School District School Board, we may be compelled to take our children out of the public school system by the fall of 2022. As you are well aware, over 55,000 children have been withdrawn from the Washington State public school system over the year, and that number will more likely triple if mask and testing mandates are upheld and a COVID vaccine is made a requirement of attendance. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim?
I passed my 2 minutes to Justine.
Okay. Justine, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you.
4 minutes.
This is the Washington Parents Alliance that we're a part of with this effort.
You got my time going? Okay. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everyone, faces and everything. So, hello, my name is Justine Stimmel, and as a body of parents across Washington State, we have heard your collective plea for cooperation and help. You've been sincerely telling us your hands are tied by WASDA and OSPI, and we understand you now. So together, let's untie your hands and restore your authority to represent us, the parents of Lacenter Public School District. And on behalf of WAPA, the Washington Parents Alliance, and as a citizen and grandparent, we served you these public disclosure requests as a courtesy and a favor to inform you of the possible legal liabilities that your own WASDA groomed lawyers did not. The state agencies that compelled school districts to carry out masking and vaccinating measures knew that the safest way to avoid legal liability for vaccine injuries and the harmful effects of long-term mask wearing was to pass that liability down to the lowest local level, the school district. Why did WASDA send a statewide alert and advise schools to seek legal counsel when they were informed that so many districts across the state were being served identical public disclosure requests asking for unidentifiable records? Through our PDRs, also known as legal action, we were alerting our school board members to the legal liability that their own legal counsel may have been too nervous or ignorant to share with them. If you claim that you were just following orders from the state, will that protect you if down the line it's proven that the governor's emergency order was based on fraudulent data? Finally, it's important to note that many of the requests we made in those documents were in a sense rhetorical questions. We asked for specific documents on safety data for the COVID-19 vaccines that we know do not exist. We did this to point out that these documents should exist. How can vaccines be mandated to teachers after Pfizer has been so reluctant to share safety data with the public, and there are no informational inserts in the vaccine packages? We asked for proof of FDA authorization because we know it does not exist. The vaccines are still under emergency use authorization, which is another way for vaccine manufacturers to exempt themselves from liability for the injured. These are bold statements, but they are meant to help you see through the veil of media censorship that kept the real data from all of you and me. Our movement is comprised of teachers who have already been injured by these vaccines, bus drivers who suffer from numb extremities, basketball coaches who have paralyzed arms, teachers with strokes and blood clots, and too many who have recently buried their parents who died of heart failure after taking the vaccines. Please get curious and dig deeper. Our most fervent goal is to work with you. I mean that, and not against you. After all, we are neighbors in the same community who ought to be looking out for each other. And may God deliver us from this mess, one good decision at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Justine, and thank you, everyone. Oh, I still have Sally on here. Sally Lindsay.
Sorry, I was just signing in.
Oh, okay. Thank you, all those that participated. We do appreciate it. We appreciate the thought that you have. I do want to stress, you know, we are not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're not politicians. We're all,
Pete's holding it down for him, aren't you?
no, mine's on full time. We're not politicians, you know, and we try to stay in our lane, and our job is to try to educate children the best we can. We don't make health policy, but we do follow it. We do follow the laws we're required to by our oaths of office. So we have done several, if you guys have been following, and I know a lot of you have, and I appreciate that, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Regulations where we say, hey, resolutions where we reserve the right to that of home rule for Lacenter, that we will set the policies that are being talked about, not the state government, that we will monitor what is considered community standards. So, because we are elected officials of you guys, we do have resolutions saying we are not going to leave this up to the state. There are some things that, because none of us are doctors, that we did say on health issues that we said we have to follow that law. We consulted our lawyers and they said, yeah, this has gone through the courts. You do have to follow it. So trust me, we're taking advisement. We appreciate what you guys have done. I do see a hand though.
Yeah, I just want to say, I really do appreciate where you're coming from. This is a unified fact that went across the entire state. Washington, like I said, 295 districts in there. Don't all think like you guys do.
I know.
And so it had to be uniform in order to do it. It was just something we have to be the same with everybody regardless.
I appreciate that.
Just to, if I may, real quick, what I put up there is the letter to WASDA on the National School Board Association, which is linked on the front page of our website.
So
You can read it.
demands that they retracted because it was horrible. You know?
Yeah, it is horrible.
And like I said, our letter said we've never been threatened by a parent or anyone else, but we have been threatened by the state. You know, they're the only ones. Yeah. Okay.